These insights brought to you by Masutha.
Well, the mandate of our department really is to increase post-school opportunities to begin with, for young people, but also for adults. Precisely in order to create more opportunities for young people to be able to access further education as well as skills. So that is at the heart of what we are trying to do, and part of that is that the President decided to actually combine higher education institutions with training activities, including skills development, so that there is better relationship between the two. But the other thing that we want to do is to expand the college sector, especially your further education and training or vocational colleges, as it were, in order to be able to draw more and more young people. And we want to grow that sector quite significantly during the term of this administration.
The greatest weakness in South Africa's skills development system has been the lack of alignment between the country's further education and training EFT colleges and SETAs. What synergies are being explored to get this on track?
We have just released a proposed new skills development strategy. And at the heart of that is precisely to improve that synergy in significant ways. For example, to ensure that we improve work experience for students, for instance, who are still at the FET colleges but who require exposure to the workplace. And to say then to the SETAs, your priority is to ensure that as many of the students in the colleges and universities of technology who require workplace experience are indeed able to get that workplace experience. That's just but one example of how we are trying to improve the synergy between the two.
Looking at the link between business and tertiary, that's one of the challenges. What should the private sector be doing?
Well, we are all in this together. That is why also today, I also announced that I intend holding a round table, especially, initially with big companies and state-owned enterprises, but also bring in colleges and universities to actually say, what capacity do we have in these companies? How can we improve that capacity so that we are able to provide more genuine opportunities for training and that people are able to move in and out the workplace, the universities and back, and so on and so on. That's our ideal of an integrated education and training system, which we are putting its building blocks now.
The SETAs have been viewed as ineffective, and debate has been raging for some time now on whether the 23 SETAs were responding adequately to South Africa's skills challenge. What is government doing on this front?
Well, I don't think it's the numbers that is a problem, or the number of SETAs that is a problem per se, as you imply in your question. Because we need to ensure that SETAs actually reach into every corner of our economic sector, industrial activity, and so on. So inevitably, you will have quite a number of SETAs if we are to be able to facilitate training, both in the workplace and colleges. Indeed, some SETAs have had problems, and we are going to be acting on those SETAs that have got problems of whatever nature, to strengthen them, to address those problems, to fight against corruption, and so on. But we should not use those problems to determine the boundaries. The boundaries of the SETAs and the numbers must be determined by our own human resources development strategy. That is what needs to be addressed. So sometimes people have got a tendency of painting all the SETAs with one brush. A SETA like Masutha, has been doing relatively well in terms of responding to some of the skills challenges and functioning fairly efficiently and effectively. And why then should we say, well, all SETAs are bad, just because there are other SETAs which are facing very specific problems, some of which can be addressed, and we are quite determined that we'll address those.
What type of skills should the country be focusing on in order to grow the economy?
Well, our skills shortages runs across, it's your lower to mid-level and to high-level skills. But at the moment, at the center of our strategy is to really drastically increase artisans. There is a huge shortage there. And indeed, your mid-level skills, technicians and so on. But at the same time, we should be building our capacity also on the higher end, your PhDs, research and innovation that also needs to be supported, because you can't have sustained skill development also if you don't address the issues of research and innovation and putting in money there. But we would say that artisans is something that we've placed very high in the priority of government and our department.
These insights brought to you by Masutha.